Hey everyone, my name is Brianna Gibbs. I'm a junior here at Indiana State University and I'm majoring in intelligence analysis. One of the most important topics in the intelligence world today is digital forensics. Digital forensics is a field that law enforcement agencies are utilizing on a large portion of their cases. Digital forensics gives law enforcement and intelligence analysts access to data they might not otherwise receive. The information that is gathered from these devices can assist in making a case stronger, along with helping solve cases. Digital forensics and intelligence analysis are both branches of science that can complement each other. In order for that relationship to grow positively, they both have to be understood. This includes understanding the tools and training that are needed, the challenges that each branch faces, the impact they have on one another, and solutions for the future. As the rest of the world has embraced the internet, so have criminals. One cannot go into an investigation this day and age without encountering some form of digital forensics. Now more than ever, it is important for intelligence analysts and law enforcement to embrace what digital forensics has to offer. So before we launch into the details, there are a few definitions that need to be understood, primarily what digital forensics and cybercrime are. Digital forensics is the field of forensic science that is concerned with retrieving, storing, and analyzing electronic data that can be useful in criminal investigations. And then cybercrime is any illegal activity for which a computer or other network device is used as its primary means of commission, transmission, or storage. Pattern analysis and social network analysis are also included in the definitions. So starting with pattern analysis, definition is looking at components of crimes to discern similarities among them, and then social network analysis is all connections among a set of targets that are analyzed to determine their strength and longevity. So we will go into greater detail as to how digital forensics can help in the pattern analysis and social network analysis area. But as of right now, it's just important to understand their definitions. The icons listed on the slide are just a few of the many softwares that can be used by digital forensic analysts and intelligence analysts. Each of these softwares can be used to review and analyze data collected from digital devices or other sources. They require specific training to understand how to use them and understand the data. Cellbrite offers platforms that go through all of the digital forensic stages. This includes tools to collect, review, analyze, investigate, and manage and safeguard data. Their tools are forensically sound and allow examiners to lawfully gather data off of devices or off of the cloud. Their investigative platforms work to help examiners and investigators sort through all of the data to help cut back on processing time. Magna Axiom is also one of the top tools used for digital investigations. They offer a variety of platforms, so agencies with one examiner can work with the tools, or an entire cyber lab can. Like Celebrite, Magna Axiom provides multiple platforms to ensure that every step of the process is covered and forensically sound. As a user of both softwares, the artificial intelligence and innovation that Magna Axiom offers makes analyzing data much easier. Investigations can be tailored using their artificial intelligence to help analyze data that could be possibly related to the case topic. This approach assists in processing time for examiners. So, for example, if you have a case where a suspect is arrested for dealing in narcotics, then you could go into the Magna Axiom case and use their artificial intelligence to look for images or videos that could possibly contain narcotics, along with entering keywords or usernames that would also help the processing time for that case. FTK Imager is defined as a data preview and imaging tool that lets you quickly assess electronic evidence to determine if further analysis with a forensic tool is warranted. FTK Imager is an amazing tool because it allows examiners to quickly see this data and make forensic images of the devices without the risk of making changes to the original evidence. This is backed by their hash reports to ensure that the image integrity is there. Having that integrity and chain of custody is extremely important in criminal cases. Hash values or reports, for those who are not familiar, can be equated to a social security number. Only one image receives that hash value and it will not change. ArcGIS is an analysis tool that helps connect people, locations, and data using interactive maps. In criminal intelligence, this tool is used to help locate hotspots of crime in an agency's jurisdiction, but it can be used for a variety of things. The IBM i2 Analyst Notebook software is designed to help locate and supply actionable intelligence for its users. By doing this, the company states that the software helps analysts identify, predict, and avoid criminal, terrorist, and fraudulent activities. As criminals get better at using technology in their crimes, the data becomes more complex, and IBM i2 is a tool that can take that complex data and turn it into visuals that are often easier to understand. This is extremely important for tactical, strategic, and operational intelligence needs. There are 5 major challenges when it comes to using digital forensics and intelligence analysis. Those challenges are budgeting, training, access, the amount of data, and the use of data in court. Budgeting and training were key issues in the article. Intelligence-led policing and practice, reflections from intelligence analysts. Analysts discussed that at times they would have the budget to purchase software, but would not have the budget or time to send personnel to training, or vice versa. This limits investigations since personnel either have access to software they do not understand or have training for a software they cannot obtain. Access refers to the issue regarding locked devices and encrypted applications. Access for this presentation refers to the issue regarding locked devices and encrypted applications. This challenge has been identified by federal, state, and local law enforcement. The less access there is to a device, the less data there is to analyze for an investigation. Key data that could implicate or exonerate people of interest is missed because of this challenge. On the other side, sometimes there's too much data for analysts to analyze and link together. Most people carry between 1 to 2 cellular devices today because of work and personal life. Suspects in drug cases have been known to have more than 2 devices. And if you add in social media warrants or cloud data with multiple devices, then an analyst can be looking at terabytes of data that they need to make sense of in a short amount of time. One of the last major issues is admitting digital forensics into court and presenting it in a clear and concise manner. Digital evidence has its own set of hearsay and admissibility rules in court. Software offer different report versions, and the courts may prefer a version that does not present the material well, or prosecutors may use data that they do not fully understand either. Digital forensics has shown both positive and negative impacts in terms of high-profile criminal cases. The article, Digital Evidence in the U.S. Criminal Justice System, discusses the negative impact that digital forensics had in the Casey Anthony case and the positive impact that it had in the Christian Aguilar case. Investigators in the Casey Anthony case had used a software that they thought showed the results of her browsing history with searches for chloroform and other methods. However, the software ended up being faulty and contributed to the reasonable doubt in the case. Investigators also missed that Anthony preferred another browser over the one that they found. That search history ended up showing results for foolproof suffocation. By using faulty software, investigators missed a majority of the evidence they could have used against Anthony, and the error made their case weak. This lesson shows how important it is to validate and update tools. The Christian Aguilar case went from a very circumstantial case to a more solid case due to digital forensics. After obtaining the suspect's cellular device, they were able to recover data such as searches and location data that implicated the suspect. With this evidence, investigators were able to convict Bravo of the murder. The Aguilar case is a good example of how digital forensics can be a game changer. In intelligence-led policing, investigators and analysts are looking at criminals who participate in burglaries, shooting, drugs, murder, etc. Digital forensics could help change the tide in these cases. Digital forensics can help intelligence analysts find association links, aid in social media analysis, and crime pattern analysis. The devices that people carry can tell us a lot about who they talk to the most, what social media they are on, and their pattern of life. It is rare to encounter someone without a smart device these days. Digital forensics combined with intelligence has the power to influence prosecution, defense, and the jury. Digital data can assist with case closure as well, whether that is through the courts or not. It is important that the data is presented well and that it is correct and verified before it enters the courtroom. With heavy influence also comes heavy responsibility. It would be nothing short of disastrous if data from a device was used in the courtroom that ended up being wrong or unvetted. The jury is often looking for what is called the CSI effect. They want the full show, including physical evidence, digital evidence, etc. The way that digital evidence and intelligence is presented in the courtroom has an impact on the jury. If the presentation of the data is boring or confusing, it will lose the jury and damage the impact it has on the case. In order for digital forensics and the intelligence process to work, there are a couple solutions that teams should put in place. The first solution is to assess the needs of the agency. Gun task forces will focus on groups that run drugs, guns, and participate in violent cases, whereas a task force investigating white-collar crime will have different needs. Next is to create a strategy. Suspects are not in the business of willingly giving up their devices or usernames. Groups will have to develop strategies on how they will conduct operations to obtain those devices and data. The other side of strategy is how devices and data will be triaged and reported. Establishing what tools and training is needed is highly important as well. Without proper tools or training, the strategy will be more likely to fail. Lastly, departments and agencies need collaboration. This starts with good communication and collaboration with management. It would also apply to collaborating with the courts or prosecutor's office to ensure that data can be understood by all parties. Law enforcement has been trying to keep up with digital forensics and the internet for years. One of the major pushbacks from the courts and citizens are privacy concerns. The big topics include how digital forensic applies to the Fourth Amendment, Big Brother, like surveillance, and safeguarding the personal property or data that comes off of the devices. It is very important that law enforcement either have a search warrant or a signed consent to search for a device. A search warrant is hands down the better way to go, whether the party is a victim or a suspect. This allows for lawful recovery and investigation of the device's data. One debate that is currently being discussed is whether investigators can look at everything from a device or if they should be restricted to just phone calls, location data, or messages. Big Brother in this presentation refers to citizens' concerns about living in a surveillance state. This is nothing new to the intelligence world and applies to digital forensics as well. The recovery of data should not be abused, and unnecessary intelligence should never be conducted off of data recovered from digital data. Lastly, it's important that law enforcement safeguard individuals' personal property. This goes for the contents on the device and the physical device itself. In the article Digital Evidence in the U.S. Criminal Justice System, the authors state that when it comes to growth, that digital evidence is where DNA was 20 years ago. It is one of the new go-to tools and is a valuable one that law enforcement intelligence can apply. Celebrate's 2021 benchmark survey included responses from over 2,000 individuals in multiple countries on topics regarding digital intelligence. Their study found that 63% of criminal cases include digital evidence, and within those cases, 96% of the devices are smartphones. When the majority of cases include digital evidence and a device, it is important that law enforcement have a strategy for investigating and analyzing it. Out of the individuals that responded, 80% of them are from local, state, and federal agencies. This is not a part of criminal investigations that is going away, and it continues to get bigger. Celebrate identified that case resolvement is still a struggling trend in the digital intelligence world. Part of this is because of the amount of data that analysts have to go through to look for connections or evidence. Data is often not all together in the same spot, so looking at the big picture is a difficult task. Another trend is the number of locked devices and encrypted applications that analysts are seeing. Resolving cases is difficult if data cannot be accessed. The time from collection of a device to the time of a report is a key part of the overall strategy as well. One of the issues is that it can take longer to produce a report when devices are locked or applications are encrypted or devices contain a large amount of data. This trend is growing and agencies will have to plan for it. A solution might include triaging cases and reaching out for assistance. Nearly everyone these days has access to their own device or a device that's connected to the internet or some other network. Anyone connected to the internet can also become a victim of cybercrime. So while some citizens may not agree with digital forensics and law enforcement, it can help everyone. Digital forensics is helping the criminal justice world by helping connect the dots and solve cases as discussed in the previous slides. This benefits victims of crime and the community. Digital forensics and the intelligence community have a great responsibility when it comes to how data is accessed and how it is used in an investigation. There have been multiple cases where case law has been created in states regarding how law enforcement can access data on devices. An example of this was the Indiana Supreme Court's decision that law enforcement cannot compel a user to give up their passcode. That is because the passcode is protected under the Fifth Amendment, because if a suspect gives their passcode, it could be self-incriminating. The intelligence community and digital forensics community are often caught in the middle of the government and civilians' privacy concerns. This court example was a win for individuals' privacy rights. For digital intelligence to be successful, analysts need to be supported by their management. Celebrate's benchmark report found that about a third of managers do not like their current strategies, and over half of the agencies have little to no digital intelligence strategy. With better support and belief in what digital intelligence can do, management can see an increase in evidence for cases. They can foster key relationships needed for collaboration and can maintain a positive relationship with the public. Overall, digital forensics is an important topic facing the intelligence-led policing model and a valuable tool. It can assist in finding patterns and evidence as well as helping to prevent future crime. With nearly everyone having a device today, digital forensics is a topic that intelligence-led policing will encounter often. Devices, social media, etc. contain a lot of data that can be helpful for building files and investigations. For digital forensics to be strong, units have to implement a strategy, establish a budget that meets their needs, and then provide the tools to their training and personnel.